5 o'clock here in the Dallas time. That means it's 6 o'clock in Florida. So welcome to the monthly Foreclosures Daily webinar. I'm your host, Nancy Wallace-Laabs. I live here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I'm excited that you took some time out of your busy day, or if you're watching the replay, glad that you're taking the time to learn more about Foreclosures Daily and to meet our guest speaker tonight. So a little bit about me. My name is Nancy Wallace-Laabs. I know that's a mouthful. And that picture there is of my beautiful daughter, Kelsey Laka. So I am a real estate broker, real estate investor. I've been investing in single family homes since 2006, and I've been a customer of Foreclosures Daily since 2018. I'm a best-selling author of a book called Winning Deals and Heels. And I co-founded Money Makin Mamas with my daughter, Kelsey, where we coach busy moms through our 4-week Start Investing in Today's Market, including a pre-probate deal system. We also have our Millionaire Mama Jumpstarter kit. It's not that we don't work with dads. We kind of joke and we say we have daddies doing dollars. But you can follow me on Instagram at Nancy Wallace-Laabs or Money Makin Mamas. We also have a podcast by the same name. Make sure you're putting in there Money Makin with a apostrophe with no G. And now before we get into the guest speaker, I do want to talk more about ForeclosuresDaily.com because they are your trusted nationwide real estate lead partner. Connecting investors, realtors, attorneys, and first-time buyers with high-quality leads. And I could attest to that, as I've said. I've been a customer of theirs since 2018. They're an industry leader, and they've been in business since 2004. So they've become the internet's top destination for detailed, timely real estate information. And that's really, really important. There's other list companies out there. I've used them, but you have to make sure that the list that you're purchasing actually has leads in them. And I can say 100% that each lead list that I've gotten from Foreclosures Daily has real estate attached to it. So I'm telling you, it's expertise you can trust, and they have a commitment to excellence that ensures you receive the most accurate and up-to-date available data out there. So how are they different? Well, they're real estate focused. Like I said, there's other companies that sell lists, but you have to be careful. So I had a company that I bought the lead list. This is before I found Foreclosures Daily. And they did have people, it was probate, and they did have names and things like that. But sometimes there was no real estate. Maybe there was jewelry, or maybe there were guns, or maybe there was art. And so I was finding myself spending time kind of working in an area that, wasn't really what I wanted to do. Depending on the type of leads that you get, they're delivered daily, weekly, or monthly. And the benefit is that the value is attached to appraisal data on most data types. So when I get my list, and I know most of the time they have the bedroom size, they have the bath, the year it was built, and they'll have the value of the property, which depending on the type of investing you do is very, very helpful. Or if you're a realtor and you want to know, okay, I want to do luxury listings. So you'll find that they have properties, I've seen it as low as $1,500 all the way up to $4 million and higher. So they're specialized for real estate, unlike a lot of lists that you get from other companies, and their data is farmed exclusively for the real estate market, which is very important. And they prioritize delivering up-to-date target information to keep you ahead of the game. And if you're an investor and you're looking for a way, or even a realtor, and you're looking for a way to get off-market deals, this is Foreclosures Daily is the way to go. Now, these are the type of leads that they have. So they have probate, they have pre-probate, which, like for example, in Texas, I'm able to purchase properties without the family going through probate. So when someone passes away, I can get their name within a week or two when I get my list every week. There's absentee owners, divorce list, distressed sellers, code violations, eviction, inheritance, auctions. You have cash buyers, lesbian, and tax lates. So I can't think of any other place that you can go where you can get all these leads in one place. Now, in addition, they don't just sell leads. They want you to be successful. So they are going to give you the tools and the resources for everything you need to market to these leads. So it's, it's buying the leads, but then what are you going to do with them once you get them? So they can get you in touch with people that can help you do marketing. It's not included, it's a separate service, but usually there's a discount and all that. So direct mail, which is what I do. You can also sign up for things like ringless voicemails. You can get sample letters, sample, website creation companies, skip tracing. So if something comes back, you can go, okay, well, let me track down this owner. You can sign up for services like Pat Live or Call Porter. So it's not just they have lists, but they can help you even become successful on how to market to those lists. Now, if you're a new client, you also get a copy of my bestseller book, Winning Deals and Heels. And this is really about my story and 9 of my successful real estate women friends and our obstacles. And one of the themes of the book is that you can't do it alone. We all have most of us had families. How do we balance all of that in becoming a real estate investor? And I did it around women because women are underrepresented of investors in the, it's very male dominated. Now, the one thing I can say about my book, you can get it on Amazon, is that it supports a nonprofit here in Plano, Texas called Hope Store. And what Hope Store does is it helps families heal from domestic violence. So when you get a copy of that book, just know that you're helping out families that need some help. And then they'll also put you in touch with a great company called Marketing by Hand. So I'm just going to show you a little, here's one of my cards. Whoop, can you see it there? So when I do marketing, I send out note cards, right? And that's what they do. They handwrite them. You can see this is handwritten. This came back, right? So I can go skip trace this person. And that's just give you an example of the type, because the name of the game in marketing is to get the person that you're trying to reach to open your letter. Because how can they call you if they don't open it? Or you might want a cold call. So it's just a different way. What do you feel comfortable with? But Marketing by Hand, and you can go back and watch they were a guest a few months ago, and you can watch and listen to Wendy and how that company works. Now, are you guys ready? Because we have a great guest speaker tonight. We're going to dive deeper into tonight's special guest sharing real world strategies and proven insights. And I've had the pleasure of talking to Steven a little bit before tonight and then a few days ago. So I want you to grab your pen, mute your distractions, and this is the part you really don't want to miss. So I want to introduce you to Steven Howell. Now, a lot of times when I meet the speakers or whatever, I want to uncover the things that's not on their LinkedIn bio or whatever. We know that he's a real estate investor. We know that he's a client of Foreclosures Daily. And he's going to tell you all about how he teaches people to buy their deals. But one of the things I found was very fun about Steven is his mission and purpose is to inspire those who want to change their life through real estate, and he equips them with the knowledge and skills they need to do so. But one of the things is, he's a husband, he's an entrepreneur, he's an investor, a mentor, and he loves maintaining a healthy lifestyle, working out. And you can tell, I've only met him on Zoom, and you can tell that he likes to work out. And he's a foodie, and I bet he has some stories. And he loves going out to dinner to cool new places with his wife. He's a student of life. He loves to read, and he hones his craft. He enjoys the Bible, loves the Lord, and he enjoys seeing the beautiful world and having the ability to travel. And his main purpose and mission is to help others. And I just love that. I love that about he wants to help people, and he does it through his coaching and mentoring. So without further ado, I'm going to stop my share, and Steven's going to come on. Okay, got to put my glasses on so I can see the button to push. Hang tight with me. Okay, Steven, and we're ready for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the warm welcome and introduction. It's a joy to be on here. Can everyone hear me okay? If you don't mind going to the chat or the Q&A and just typing yes or Y or a thumbs up.
I'll give you a thumbs up.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Let's see. And Nancy, thank you so much for the introduction. It's always fun to come out and share with Foreclosures Daily. And so I've been a customer of theirs for many, many years. I think 2017, 2018, maybe even a few years prior to that. So it's been a long time, but it's been awesome. And so it was so nice chatting with you and getting to learn more about you as well. And so so I want to dive in here and Nancy, if I can ask for your help as I get going here, I always have a
Okay.
fear when I do these webinars that I'm just like babbling over here and I'm like muted or something. So if you don't mind, if you can't hear me at any point, saying something or speaking up, or if the audio goes out, I would greatly appreciate that. And
I
then,
will be more than happy to do that, Stephen. I'll keep you on track. So, who
all
wants to
right, all
watch a
right.
replay when it's like blank, right? So,
That's right. That's
okay,
right.
we'll take it away.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. And as I get going here, I always go back and I'm reading through the chat. So any questions that come up along the way, please go to the chat, type in your question. I'd also love to just know where you're located in the country. So please feel free to go to the chat and just put what market you're in, maybe how long you've been in the business, what your primary marketing or your primary exit strategy is, whether you're wholesaling, whether you're flipping, whether you're acquiring rentals. Would love to know that. So we're going to dive in here, and the presentation I have for you today. And I guess before I go into that, I just want to say this thing here, and that is, I know that you're taking time out of your night to watch this, and you've probably been on webinars or other training. And so I want you guys to know my heart with this. More than anything, I want this to be helpful. If I can share a principle, a golden nugget that kind of helps move the needle, that is my goal. You're taking time away from your family, from your life to watch this, and I hope and pray that it's worth your while. And so I just want you to know that I'm glad you're here, and we're gonna dive right in. So topic is how to build a profitable real estate acquisitions business step by step in today's market in 2025. And holy cow, it's already August at the time of this recording, so it's like before long we're going to be in the holidays and it's going to be 2026. And the market is doing some weird things, and we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about how to build a profitable business and how to get results in today's market. So, and one thing for me is I like to do that without all the, as much as we humanly can, to take out some of the risk and the overhead and the overwhelm. So we're going to be talking about that as kind of a common theme and principle as we go through this. We're going to talk about the three most important things to have a thriving acquisitions company, how to get a massive quick win or cash injection into your business, the missing ingredient for your success, what to do if your business is not consistent yet, and exactly step by step how I have worked one of my very top lead sources for over 14 years and why it's kind of been a pillar in my business. And that is a concept I really want to leave you with here today. And then for those of you who are trying to get your next deal, trying to get your first deal maybe, how can we realistically speed up that timeline and rate of success? So those are the things we're going to be covering. For those of you who stayed to the very end, Nancy and I have something special for you, and we're going to do a live Q&A. I love getting to interact and answer your questions live. So for those of you who stick to the end, we should go for just maybe an hour. I want to be respectful of your time, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end. So any questions you have as we're going here, go ahead and type them into the chat, and that'll make for a great Q&A. So let's do this. So who is this particularly for? This is going to be for brand new investors who are extremely interested in getting out of kind of learning mode and getting into the trenches, getting into action mode, who are serious about getting results. It's also going to be for intermediate investors. Maybe you're a landlord, a wholesaler, rehabber. You've done a couple of deals here and there, but you just don't quite have the systems or the consistency that you would like to have. And then also it can be for real estate agents who see the opportunity of executing on the investing side of the business. So does this sound familiar to you at all? You've been around real estate, maybe for a month, maybe for a week, maybe for 10 or 15 years, and you know that real estate is a viable option for creating wealth. Maybe you've heard the statistic out there that more millionaires are created in real estate than any other industry. So you know it's possible. You probably have met people at a real estate investing club that you're part of, or on a podcast that you listen to, or a Facebook group that you're a part of. You see people getting results, and you're probably committed and desire to pursue that, whether it's financial freedom or time freedom for yourself, no matter what. But you're if you're anything like me when I was getting started in this, you're sick and tired of wasting time and wasting money on the latest fad. And oftentimes, as much as we hate to admit, it feels like we're running in 12 different directions at the same time. So if that sounds at all familiar, if that resonates on any level, let's put a smiley face in the chat, a yes, a thumbs up. I want to make sure I'm talking with the right audience here. All right, we got some yeses coming through. Cool, cool. So, and that's the thing is when I got started in this in 2009, full time since 2011, there was information out there, but now we see it all over locally in the Facebook groups, TikTok, podcasts, Instagram, and it's like, what are we not doing right? Are we burning ourselves out here? We're working too hard in our business. Some months the money pours in, and in other months it's like, where is my next deal going to come from? And it's like that tension and battle. So if you feel like every new marketing tactic or every new 6 months there's a new fad that seems exciting, but at the end it just requires another subscription or more complexity or more overhead, then I want you to know that I've felt those things, and that's definitely a reality in the real estate investing space, and in a lot of businesses. And so one thing that I'm passionate about is what you see on your screen, and that's transformation. And so I love the word metamorphosis. It's said that metamorphosis is a complete change in attitude, character, and circumstances. So, with that thought in mind, I want you to kind of think about where you're at right now in your investing business. And it's okay if you are just starting out, you've maybe gone to a couple seminars, it's okay if you've done 100 deals, but I want you to think about the type of real estate business that you want to build, what you desire as we finish out 2025, head into 2026, over the next couple of years of your life. What type of real estate investing are you investment business are you desiring to build? And that's super important. And so just kind of mark that for a second. What type of business is going to move the needle for you, for your family, and be a blessing to you? And so I want to be very brief with the introduction about myself here. And so I don't like to talk a ton about myself, but just to give you a super brief overview, I was a shy, timid office worker in a financial call center out of college. I've been a real estate investor since 2009, full time since 2011. Foreclosures Daily, right? One of their top niche leads are probates, and probates have been my top lead source since 2011. It has been old Mr. or Mrs. Reliable for me. It's been a wonderful thing. And so I want to share with you how I go about working probate leads and getting results from those. So I was the creator of one of the top videos, and I look back at this video and I cringe. I made it in a condo that my wife and I were in 2014. And I just was like, I was getting great results in probate, doing larger spread deals. And people were like, Steve, how are you getting these larger spread deals? Will you share a few tips with me? And I remembered getting a tip from a mentor by saying, hey, like, don't be scared to give away your biggest secret. Like, show that you can help somebody by like actually helping them. And so I kind of took that and was reading a few books, and I was like, you know what, like, let me just kind of peel back the onion here. So I recorded this video and it got over 177,000 views all these years later, organically. I've been known as one of the most effective people in the real estate industry, taking people by the hand and teaching them the skills of acquiring deeply discounted real estate, and helping dozens and dozens of folks do their first deals. Folks that have invested into programs before and have just got consumed with information, but they're like, where do I even start? How do I get an ROI? And I think that's one of the things I'm most passionate, is not only helping people to gain the confidence, because I'm an introvert myself, and so battling with that and how you can be successful in the real estate space, and that light bulb to go off to say, I can do this, and to help them see those real tangible results. That's what I'm passionate about. So this is a quick little clip of that video. This is an older clip. It's at 144, but it's over 177,000 views there. And I talk a lot about probate in that video. I've produced hundreds of hours of content. The last 14 years have become on a mission to be in the trenches and to make the mistakes and share that with others so that you don't have to, and shorten that learning curve. So you can take a picture of this. If you want to connect with me, the easiest way to do so is just to go to StevenHowellMentoring.com, StevenHowellMentoring.com. I'm not all over Facebook and Instagram and all of those things. I have a young family at home and all that stuff, but Steven Howell Mentoring is probably the best place to connect with me, and would love to do so. So let's dive in here. Let's see here. Let me go back. So my why is, here's a picture of my beautiful family. So as Nancy was sharing, one of the things for me, first and foremost, is faith. So I want to honor the Lord with what He's given, and the skills and the abilities, and I want to help others. And so that is a huge why for me, the number one. And also right in there is providing well for my family, my wife and two beautiful daughters. We have a ton of fun. Hands are full, 5 and 7 at the time of this recording, and just to be able to have the freedom to be at the events and show up and travel and be able to work out and serve and do different projects. And so for me, as far as learning the skills in real estate and doing the actions and getting the results, that is my why. And then, as I was into this a couple of years, I started in 2009, 2011 went full time. 2014 is when people started reaching out, like, Steven, will you help me with my first, few deals? And so I've really developed over the last 11 years a strong passion for building up warriors of men and women, and helping them to get their first deals, whether they're introvert, extrovert, doing this business part-time, full-time, whether they've done 20 deals, 50 deals, or they've yet to do their first deal. So here's a few pictures of the clients that I've worked with over the years. So a little bit of a long intro there, but I want to dive right in. So if you are an aspiring real estate investor, wholesaler, rehabber, landlord, and you are looking for a predictable way to generate deals and explode your business by another $15,000 to $30,000 a month, then you are definitely in the right place. And so the next couple of slides, I want to share with you just a couple of testimonials. This is not to brag in any way, shape, or form. What I want to do here is I want to inspire you that if I can do this, if I, as a shy, timid introvert, can do this, if the clients that I've worked with, peppered all around the country, different walks of life, different backgrounds, different skill sets, can do this step by step, I want to impart to you that you can do this. I want to instill that. So this is Elizabeth Pedersen up in Minnesota, who was able to do a very a quick deal in 5 weeks. I just want to play this video for her. She had no experience in real estate. This may sound too good to be true, but what she did is follow a proven process. I'm just going to play a second of this clip here, and hopefully the audio can come through.
I just wanted to take a few minutes to share a little bit about my experience in working in the program with Steven. It's been an incredible process so far, and I don't even think I'm 2 months in. And I just this last week closed my first deal where the assignment fee, the wholesale fee that we received was just under 24,000. It was 23,700 dollars for my first deal. And I believe that from the start of marketing to the close of the deal was 4 to 5 weeks. So needless to say, working with Steven, I've gotten incredible results. And a little bit of my story and my background, I have zero background in real estate.
So she goes on for a couple of minutes there, but I just wanted to, and now does that happen all the time? No, but when we do the right things and you're focused on the right marketing activities, it is my sincere belief that someone can go from just starting to getting their first deal done in 45 days or less. And that's exactly what happened for Liz. That's exactly what happened with a lot of clients that I work with. Moving it from faith to fact, having an intense focus on getting that first result and the confidence that grows from there. And so to do that, we have to have a lasered, dialed in plan. In my opinion, we have to go deep rather than wide and spreading ourselves too thin. And so that's what I want to talk with you about here. I'm just going to zip through these next couple of slides. So this is Eric and Ryan, who are in Milwaukee and who have since gone on to do this nationwide and are doing some amazing things. Blair, she is a force to be reckoned with in the Detroit market. She's was a stay-at-home mom, 2 young boys, husband and teacher. Now she's leading her own workshops and has gone on to do just amazing things in Detroit. She has her hands in all sorts of aspects of real estate. And so if you kind of want to hear her journey on how she would take her 2 sons to the YMCA and she was going through the content and doing her first marketing to probate. There's an interview. You can go to go.stephenhowellmentoring.com/Blair-Clark and see that interview. And she kind of shares a little bit about that story. There's her husband, JP, and they're going through flips and doing all sorts of cool stuff now. Kaliko in North Carolina went from making minimum wage at a hospital as a college student to having multiple paydays and doing some amazing things, living in a high rise in North Carolina. Brandon Wallace, he runs a group now in Delaware and does all kinds of real estate transactions. Wilbert. And so these folks, and it's nothing special. Each like as far as Steven's program or anything like that. They showed up with a willingness to change their life and to follow a process and knew that they wanted to do something that was a little bit different and to kind of focus on a niche. And so again, the purpose of that is just to show you people from all different backgrounds. Some of those were extroverts, some were introverts, some were like, I don't really like talking on the phone. I don't have a big sales background, Steve. So I just want you to know that you can do this. So what type of real estate business do you build? Right? The kind of the slide a little ways back that was like, what type of real estate business do you want to build? You could build a fix and flip type business, long-term rentals. You could do wholesaling and assigning, wholetailing, Airbnb, creative financing, terms deals. You could be a real estate agent, a broker. There's so many choices. And one of the things that I had a mentor ask me early on was like, Steve, are you trying to be a jack of all trades, yet are a master of none? And that struck a chord. So in my opinion, why would you want to focus on the investor side of the business? And there's a lot of avenues you could do as the exit side, and we're going to talk about that. But why focus on the investor side of the business? And so depending on who you talk to, the market, the economy, there's lots of opinions, there's lots of questions. Some say it's up, some say it's down, some say we're in a recession, some say we're not. But the market definitely, when I think back to when I went full time in 2011, when I got started in 2009 after the last crash, when I left Fidelity Investments and I started doing this full time in 2011, and then I think of a handful of years ago, 2017, 2018, what the market was like, 2021 with all the hedge funds and things like that, and then how things have changed now. The market is changing. Appreciation in some areas is slowing. There's certainly higher interest rates. Houses in certain capacities are sitting longer. Some still go quickly, depending on what market you're in. There's definitely rising material costs and labor, inflation since COVID. The cost of life has gone up. The dollar doesn't go as far as it did back pre 2020. And so in some capacity, people are feeling strapped. And so whether you think it's a recession, a downturn, an amazing opportunity, when there's these periods of unknowns, there is in my opinions, they can be a great times to buy. So zig while everyone is zagging. That is something that I've tried to live by in this business, just to think about things a little different. When everybody's going one way, is there an opportunity to dig in? And so particularly in the wholesaling space, competition is thinning. Marketing costs are high in some marketing channels. There's different legalities and things like that are coming in markets. And so there's competition that in certain ways it's more saturated. In other ways, competition is thinning. And so I do have some contacts at various hedge funds, and they are hiring, they are training, and they are gearing up to buy. And so in my opinion, there's none of us have the crystal ball, the Nostradamus stuff, but it is in these type of times, tough times, people need to sell. There are a lot of deals available. And so in my opinion, the way to focus on that is to go niche. And so I think this is a tremendous time. As I think back over the cycles that I've been a part of since 2009, I think this is an amazing cycle to really double down when there's uncertainty, when there's various things happening, different variables. And so a couple of keys there, so we don't have to get caught up in all the predictions, are to make a decision to zig while everyone else zags, to niche down, to commit to learning the skill and the system of creating your own powerful pipeline to cherry pick from. If you could create your own deal flow that you could cherry pick from, that is so powerful. So in all the different exit strategies that we listed on the previous slides, money is made on the buy. Buying at the right price. That is such a powerful thing. So not only creating the system to pick the deals from, but buying at the right price is such a powerful thing. So, but right along with that is having a consistent and reliable source or pipeline to choose from. Because if you're just doing a deal once a year, it's harder to make headway. So that being said, all of the exit strategies, the different business models, you may have, more of a tendency to want to fix and flip or hold some rentals. All the exit strategies work. I encourage you to think about what is your most pressing need. What is your immediate focus? What time do you have available? My favorite is building an acquisition style business that serves your own personal goals with as little risk and overhead as possible. So a major focus of mine for many years has been wholesaling and assigning contracts. And that's what I've helped a lot of folks. I've worked with people who hold rentals, who flip, and they just want to buy a great deal, kind of get the pipeline built and created, and focus on that revenue creation. And then others want to wholesale. But why I love wholesaling and assigning contracts is the skill of sourcing great deals can feed you for life. Helping sellers save time and money on their properties, speed and convenience is a powerful thing. Now, there are many times where listing the property is the much better option. And so there's a way to do it ethically and right, serve them. We're not trying to twist their arm in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't have the overhead as other business models do. It helps investors to get wonderful deals on investment properties to make a living and pay their crews. It's a great way to generate capital. You're creating your own kind of pipeline of deals to cherry pick from. So later, if you want to take a few down for a rehab or a wholesale, or if you want to cherry pick a few of those and keep them as rentals, creating that pipeline that you can kind of pick and choose is a wonderful thing. It teaches you how to get good at the buy side and to know how to buy well. And as these properties, the ones even that you don't keep, that you're serving up to other investors, typically they are fixing up the properties, fixing up the neighborhoods, the values of the home, and it's a great way to build wealth for them, their crew, and everyone involved. So the importance of building an acquisition style business: if you master the art of acquiring deeply discounted real estate, you will never go hungry. Whether you're in a booming economy or in a recession, building this style of business, in my opinion, is so important because it's your capital machine. It's the machine to pick deals from. And a cool little benefit is that it introduces you to A players in your market in an intimate way. And so just recently, I was able to serve up in my market a new investor that I had never met before. It's been an amazing relationship. He's bought 2 inherited properties. And, it wasn't one of those things where we had to go out and meet for coffee and talk about all the great things we were going to do. I've served him up a lot of great deals since. And when you're doing that, other things flow out of that relationship because you've already done business together, and so that's a cool little side bonus that I love. I'm going to take a drink of water here, and we're going to get into the specifics of probate. How is this coming through, guys? Audio still sounding good, and just want to make sure that you all can still hear me and everything. All right, let's get a awesome. Okay, so let's keep rolling here. So the 3 most important things to having a thriving acquisition company: having the right data, having the right marketing, and having the right follow through. So it has to be done consistently. When you're doing these 3 things, when you have the right data, when you have the right marketing, and you have the right follow through, you are winning. And so the right data, that's one of the reasons why I've worked with Foreclosures Daily for so many years. They just do this well. And Nancy showed all the different types of lead, whether it's eviction, divorce, all the different types of leads, probate, pre-probate. A mentor shared with me that early on the riches are in the niches, and so kind of niching down, going very deep instead of an inch wide in a huge direction. So in my opinion, distressed data is best, going deep and not wide. And so knowing how to market to that data is so critical. But Foreclosures Daily and Joe, Nancy, Angie, they've been amazing at just providing the best quality leads and also getting to interact with what the top investors in the whole country are doing. And so this is proven data, not theory. And it's the number one piece of the equation, because if you don't have the right data, that's where things have to start, because without the right data to market to, then who are we going to help solve problems and make offers to and do deals with? So it starts with the right data. The next thing is that it has to have the right marketing. And so I learned this from a mentor early on, and he shared that there's a couple of rules in marketing. One is it has to be done consistently. Marketing has to be, whether you're calling, emailing, whether you're texting, whether you're sending letters, postcards, it has to be done routinely and consistently. And so this is, for all of us real estate investors, the number one area by far of failure is that the marketing is not done consistently. Second is it's a numbers game. So this is the number two area of failure is that there's just not enough marketing done, not enough conversations with sellers happening, not enough offers happening. And so I want to share with you how we can kind of build a system so we're organizing these things in our favor. The other big one is one channel, a single focus, and to say that we're going to test this one area for 10 weeks. We're not going to take 10 months or a year. We're just going to go really, really, really deep in this one channel for 10 straight weeks, be very consistent, do enough volume. And that gives us data, that gives us feedback for us to make those iterations. And then when we're doing that marketing, we have to have a fast response time. We have to track what we're doing, and we have to make sure we're not reinventing the wheel. And so, so the right data is number one, the right marketing is number two. And then the third piece of the equation is one of the most important parts as well. All three of these are just so critical. You really can't do it without the other three parts. And that is the right follow through. So once we get this hot lead on the phone, or they're responding to the marketing, it's exactly how to navigate the conversation and what to say and how to say it and how to pre-qualify or disqualify, how to run appointments, how to do our analysis, what type of offer are we making, how to fill out the contracts, the little 100,000 scenarios that can happen in any given deal that are not covered on the YouTube video or the course or the seminar. And that's where I love to come in and just take people by the hand. Every deal, every situation, there's all these little unique factors, and just step by step working through that is how we can compress timeframes. Having the right processes, systems, and steps for when the calls come in. We're spending the money on the data. We're doing the marketing. The calls come in. Having the confidence of how to navigate those is a big thing. And so, kind of zooming back a little bit, when we talk about building this this acquisition style business, it's my belief that you got to have a firm foundation. So we want to get really clear on what market, what zip codes, what counties. We want to understand to, especially if we're wholesaling and assigning, doing things ethically, legally, on the up and up. We want to help people, serve people, bless people. We want it to be a win-win. We want to understand the value we bring to the marketplace, how we're adding value to attorneys and title companies and other investors and realtors and brokers, and the kind of understanding your value and your unique angle gives you almost like a superpower if you don't know that. And so that is a powerful thing. We don't want to spend a lot of time, but it's helpful to have a good base. And then preparation. So what tools are we using? CRM, return mail, email, phone number. Do you need a fancy LLC? Sometimes things in this the time we live in can get so complex, and there's so many subscriptions and software that it drowns you in expenses, but also just overwhelm of like, oh, I need, 30 different things just to get going. And so how do we navigate that? And so I think it's important to have a battle plan there of what's important, what's not. And then from there, we got to get right into marketing. Quality leads, quality data. I love to start with distress data, probates, code violations, eviction, divorce, pre-foreclosure. And by niching down, that is where we're able to have more follow through. We're able to be personal and just more detailed than our competition. And so if you're worried about market saturation, competition, just focusing with blinders on a niche and building a system that those marketing kind of rules or laws that I shared a few slides ago, kind of having a system that has those ingrained into it, it just starts to stack things in our favor more and allows us to win quicker. And then the next thing there is after we have the marketing going and people are raising their hands, it's how do we have those conversations, doing a lot of it over the phone so we're not driving all over town. How do we make our offers, diagnose the situation, understand how we can add value. And then the backside of it is the disposition. So it's whether you're going to be closing on the deal yourself or if you're wholesaling the deal, how are we working with buyers, the title company, the follow through, making sure the deal closes and everybody is happy and everybody's winning. And then it's the rinse and repeat process. How do we start to reinvest? How do we make sure that's not a one-hit wonder? How do we refine? And the magic word in the real estate business, scale. How do we scale? And a lot of times people do this way too early. They'll do a deal and then just start doing all this stuff. And it's very easy. And I know I was very, very guilty of this, of just, I call it comparisonitis, just looking what either competitors or other colleagues or other people in a similar market or in your own market are doing. And, really just trying to keep the blinders on and get that next deal and get some momentum and just little tweaks and little refinements along the way. So 6 steps to building an acquisition style business that we're able to then cherry pick deals from. So as you're getting going, if you are, a couple months between deals, if you've yet to get your first deal, 2 things matter, and there's really a lot more, but 2 things: generating leads and talking with those leads and making offers are the most important things. Generating leads and talking with those leads and making quality offers that are in their best interest. We're not trying to change their mind or anything like that. And so to do that, whether it's in probate or eviction or any of these niches, this is an area where there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions. There's a lot of different ways to go about marketing, whether you're cold calling, texting, sending the voicemail blast, PPL, the pay per lead service, radio, TV, relationships, the old school, like we buy houses signs, the SEO, Google PPC, Facebook ads, video ads, Instagram ads, YouTube TV ads. There are a lot of ways to go about marketing, and it can get very, very overwhelming. And so I want to help simplify that a little bit. And so I want to ask a few questions here. So this has been a helpful thought, I know, as I was getting my first deal and as I've worked with many, many, many folks to do their first larger spread deal. It's much different as you're building out your business to reinvest from profit, to get into profit mode quickly rather than going into debt. And so the mission number 1 that I want you to commit to is to do your first large spread deal, if you've yet to do one, as fast as possible. To focus on one lead source, one marketing channel, and commit to mastery. And how much easier will it be to scale? Just like you heard Elizabeth in Minnesota do the $23,700 deal. She followed this to the exact T. How much easier will it be to scale once you do that first 15 to 25K deal? What if you did 2 or 3 deals in the next 90 days? What would that do for your marketing budget? Because I know the overwhelm of like, Steven, man, I don't have 10 grand to like launch this business. I don't have 25 grand to launch this business. Um, but what if you were able to do a deal, a large spread deal like Liz in your first 60 to 90 days? What would that do for your marketing budget if you reinvested 10 or 15 or 20%? What would that do to your confidence? And so it's a matter of focus and sacrifice now, and it will pay off. And so, why I love the niche of probate, inherited houses, oftentimes these can be hoarder houses. 80% of them will sell within the next 90 days, 120 days. There is a huge population of these. This has been my top lead source since 2011. A lot of times there's not a mortgage. There's also not a crazy quantity of them. In my market, I do this in 6 counties, which sounds like a lot, but I'm in a smaller market here in Ohio. And so I get anywhere from 35 to 45 leads a week. So rather than trying to send out mailers to 10,000 people or manage some type of crazy cold calling campaign with 5,000 records, if I'm getting 25 or in my case 35, 45 records a week, it's a very manageable amount of leads to say, okay, if I reach out, let's just call it 35 or 40. We'll call it 40 for an example. If I'm reaching out to those 40 folks, I'm typically out of those opportunities of 40s. And I have this right here I have a little lead sheet on my desk, and I always put the date. So this is back from June. I'm working some June leads right now. And so I have 46 opportunities, and I put 46 opportunities, 46 families to serve. And so out of that, I'll typically generate anywhere from 5 to 7 what I call warm-ish leads. There's some folks that are keeping the house. They're not moving. They're not selling. There are some that have already listed it with a realtor. There are some that are just early on in the process, and then there's some that they're ready to go now. And so I'm not trying to call and convince or anything. I'm trying to just make contact. And so I like that there's a lower quantity of leads that allow us to still play the numbers game, because if you're reaching out to 140, 150 records a month, and we're able to do a deal or two a month, and those are larger spread deals, $15,000, $20,000 deals, that's a lot of revenue. So by focusing on a niche strategy like probate, for example, which is what we're talking about here, it's not a strategy that you're going to do 50 deals a year, but it is something that you can do 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 deals a year. That can be a bread and butter thing that you can cherry pick deals from and do some wonderful things. A lot of times family lives out of town or lives out of state. There's multiple ways to work these leads, which we'll talk about in just a second. There's less competition because there's a lot of misconceptions of like, just I have to know probate laws and I have to know this and that. And, they might not be selling for a long time. And there's just a lot of misconception, which kind of helps insulate it a little bit from competition. So how I work probates, I block off a good 10 to 12 hours a week to fully work probates. It's typically about 2 hours a day. And so you can do this whether you have a full-time job or part-time job. And we get leads weekly in as many counties as you can. A lot of times I recommend starting with 1 or 2 counties. But like I said, in my area, I've been doing this for a long time. I do it in 6 counties. And typically we want to be in the ballpark of about 25 records a week. That's kind of the enough quantity that gives us 100 records a month. And so what I do is I mail a letter, a long form letter, to the personal representative, to the executor, to the person who's kind of inheriting the property and who's in charge of making the decisions. And so I send out a personal rep letter to them. I also include a little document that I just made that's called What to Expect from Us. And so it's probably very daunting, very scary for someone in that situation of like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. This house is dated back to the 70s. There's shag carpet. I'm a little overwhelmed. And so I just kind of, bullet pointed like what to expect and what this process looks like. And that's been a very, very powerful document. And then what it looks like listing and what it looks like if they were to sell to us as an investor. And so I'll send out an executor letter, an attorney letter, and then I'll also email the attorney and email the executor, typically a couple days later. And then I will reach out to the executor with a phone call and to the attorney with a phone call. I'll typically shoot a quick little text to the executor. Sometimes I'll even do a little video so they know that I'm just not some big like corporation, that I'm, down to earth, personable. I've bought properties out of probate. I understand what they're going through. And so it's not a big sales pitch or anything like that. And then I also send out postcards as well for all of the probates that I've been working for the last 4 months. And so, and then I put together, in my market, there's 264 probate attorneys. And some of those probate attorneys do 4 or 5 cases a year, and some do 50 cases a year. And so if I'm able to hit it off with 5 or 10 of those probate attorneys and they're able to refer me 1 case a year, that's an extra 5 or 10 deals a year just by reaching out to the attorneys. And so I will send an email out to these attorneys every couple weeks, just kind of touching base. And that's a wonderful way to kind of drum up some deals as well. Now, you don't have to implement every single one of these things. And it took time to get all this into place. I've had clients of mine where they're working a full-time job and 8 to 4, 8 to 5, and all they had time to do, or the marketing budget to do, was simply call the executors or even just email the attorneys. And they were able to do a deal a month, a deal every other month. And so it's a very, it's something that builds over time. And so I want to make sure I'm answering your guys' questions. So if you have any questions about that, I would love to chat with you more. But I want to give you a few more tips here, just as you're building your business, right? Tips for shortening your learning curve. I want you to commit to one type of lead and marketing channel, deep, not wide. He who chases 2 rabbits catches none. It's a law of numbers. Most people don't want to sell. Most people want retail. It's a numbers game. So we still have to think big. We want to contact them often from different angles. This is powerful. In the beginning, it's so important to not be tinkering around with pretty logos, Instagram accounts, CRM drip campaigns, business cards, tinkering with websites and a million different subscriptions. We want to keep costs and expenses lean. And so we want to begin having conversations with people now, because the biggest deals come from relationships. And so having the confidence to make that outreach, to do those very simple phone calls, is a powerful thing. And so as you were going through this, in my opinion, any money should be spent on marketing or mentoring. And so reading 7 pages a day, I love audiobooks, but just a physical book, 7 pages a day for personal development is a powerful thing as you're learning and growing in this business and industry. And just taking personal responsibility for the actions, the inputs that we're doing daily and weekly. And this is a quote that I've shared with every client I've ever worked with. And life is hard, right? Life is hard. And sometimes it feels like the world is against you. Sometimes it feels like the results that we want are just keep slipping through our fingers. And so I just want to instill this in you to do what you can from where you are with what you've got. Do what you can from where you are with what you've got. Do not give up. Keep going, keep fighting, keep taking the next right step, the next right action. These are 4 great books. You take a screenshot of this. So if we're reading 7 pages a day, we don't need to tackle the world. We don't need to, what was the quote that I heard recently? We don't need to boil the whole ocean this week, but we can sure get a couple things done by Friday. And that just resonated with me. It's like the 7 pages a day. It's like we don't need to read, 3 books a week and do all these things, but as we're learning and growing, reading 7 pages a day, just it's like the simple little actions over time, calling 10 or 15 executors a day out of those 25 to 35 or 40 records you get a week, emailing 10 attorneys a day, just a simple activity that you're able to fit in is so powerful. So Nick is in the Dallas market. I need to update this slide. He's already graduated with me. He did 6 deals in his first 6 months, about a deal a month. When he graduated, he just had a new baby like a few months ago. Shout out to Nick. He's already graduated in the program. He ended up finishing at 10 or 12 deals, something like that, within the year program that we were working together. And it was awesome to see him right around Christmas time do a $50,000 deal. And for the longest time, he didn't even do the executor calls. He just sent the executor letter. He's like, I have my hands in a lot of other things, just going to send the letters. And then eventually he started incorporating the calls. Shane in North Carolina has done some wonderful things. I'm just going to skip through a few of these slides here. I want to wrap up here. I know we're at 7 o'clock. I want to open this up to Q&A. Jason just went right in, got right to work. He ended up flipping a handful of his deals. He was a little bit more seasoned, but really liked the probate angle, and just got in, went right to work. Paul in Texas. Todd, full-time police officer, 50 hours a week. And he liked the probate process because it gave him something, an hour to a day that he could execute on. Instead of the million things that sounded good, there was like just a specific plan to follow. All right. So to do these, to get these results, you have to have the right system, right? You have to have, in my opinion, a niche market, a unique value message that truly speaks to the person that you're trying to help solve a problem. And you're really, truly trying to help and solve a problem. And so you have to have that message dialed in, the right systems, the right procedures. You may have heard this before. The longest and hardest road to success is going at it alone. There's the hard way of just trying a million different things, piecing it together on YouTube University, watching this video and this webinar. But like we talked about earlier, when that lead comes in, you've invested the time, the money on the leads, the marketing. Each deal has 1,000 different variables. And for me, I had a mentor that I could just call on the phone. Nat, will you help me, man? Like this is what she said. This is what he said. Like, does that kill the deal? Like, how would you handle this? That is just lead by lead, situation by situation, how I learned this business. And so if you're somebody that wants a predictable way to even generate 1 or 2 extra deals a month, larger spread deals, higher quality leads, increase your deal spreads, reduce your workload. I do offer one-on-one mentoring. I don't have a million courses, programs. Since 2014, I've only done one thing, and that's this, because it's the only thing that worked for me. And it's just come alongside you for an entire year. You have my cell phone. We have a little walkie-talkie. There's a curriculum to go through and action steps and all that jazz. But it's just dialed in, laser focus action steps. And so I work with 3 type of clients, ones that want more hot leads, want to, maybe you already have a lot of leads, but you're just not converting, and you want to increase your deal size, increase the spreads. It's no more difficult to do a $22,000 wholesale deal than a $5,000 wholesale deal. We don't want to do a $22,000 deal just to like get greedy and then it's not a good deal for the end buyer, because like we value that relationship. And we also don't want to do a 22K deal and the seller is not happy. And so how do we navigate that? And so if you guys are interested in that, I want to wrap this up here and I want to do Q&A. I want to bring Nancy back on here in just a couple minutes, but just high level overview. Go to Steven Howell Mentoring. There's a little documentary on there with my wife and I. You can book a call, just click the little book a call button. You can read about the one-on-one mentoring program. I have YouTube videos, a ton of YouTube videos, and you can book a call and we can chat, and there's no pressure with that. And so on that simple call, it would just be to hear where you're at, what you're looking to accomplish, and if I can help you, amazing. And if I can't help you, if I'm not the guy, I will just say that and gladly point you in a better direction. So with the mentoring, instead of going to another seminar, you're going to learn the business, just like when I called Matt my mentor, by doing the business. So instead of going out and spending 10 or 25, I've had so many folks that have spent 45,000, 13,000, 8,000, 9,000, 15,000, and they've had courses and seminars that have promised them to teach them flipping and wholesaling and rentals and Airbnbs and a bazillion things, and they have all this software, and they had to get a fancy LLC set up and spend thousands of dollars on all these things, and they don't know what to do to get their first deal done. And so that's kind of the portion of the community that I feel called to serve. Is I'm committed to helping people to get results, and so just help you get everything from beginning to end set up, doing deals, making offers, role-playing conversations with you, and all of that. And so if all that did was give you a kick in the butt that you've been needing, or help you do like Nick, $50,000 deal on his second deal, or like Liz, 23.7K deal on her first deal. If all it did was help you do your next 15 to 50K deal, or finally allow you to get an ROI or be in profit, or consistently get you doing a deal a month, a deal every other month, or give you the confidence that this really does work, that all these webinars are actually worth it, and give you a few new skills. And so this is for brand new investors, like we talked about in the beginning. This is for intermediate investors, real estate agents, people who know that they can become good at this, or are already good at this. They believe they can make an impact in their market. They believe in helping others and getting results above everything else, and understand they need to have skin in the game. It's not for people who like the idea of having a real estate business, or make excuses or complain, or just are kind of stuck in information gathering mode, like to just consume content like a warm blanket. And I've been guilty of that. It feels good, kind of warm blanket, sipping on the coffee, going through a course or a program. But I want this to truly be for folks who are ready to they might be a little nervous, and that's okay, but ready to do the work and to take action and truly get some wonderful results. So I don't have some big sales pitch for you here, other than I am clearing my calendar for a free strategy call. So for those of you who have watched this, who have stuck around, I am literally clearing my calendar tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, where we can hop on a 45-minute strategy call. And so I'm opening up, because I do this one-on-one, I typically have 5 spots, 5 to 7-ish spots, because I want to make sure that I'm able to faithfully serve you, and be here for you. And fulfillment on the back end is critically important to me. And so whenever I've offered this, the spots typically go very quickly the same week. And so if you're interested in the one-on-one mentoring program, go over to StevenHowellMentoring.com, book a call, and we can hop on a phone tomorrow, and I'll call you. It's not my sales team or anything like that. I don't have a sales team. I'm going to call you personally. We'll chat, no pressure. And if it's a good fit, we can talk about what that looks like. And so I'll clear my calendar tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. And other than that, if you have any questions or anything like that, you can also drop me an email, steven@stevenhowmentoring.com. This is not a clickable link, but if you just go to stevenhowmentoring.com, that's where you can book a call. Welcome back, Nancy.
Great presentation. Thank you so much, Steven. And before I go on to the end of it, I do want to spend a little time. Nicole had, there was actually some questions that I want to address. So yes, everyone will get a recording. If you signed up, you're going to get the recording. Usually they're available tomorrow or the next day. It'll be emailed out to you. But Nicole had written quite a bit. So I thought maybe we could just talk about what she said about getting lost. It does seem overwhelming, right? When you're first starting. So, and she had mentioned something about she watched one of my webinars that I did for Foreclosures Daily for 100 times. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. So I think what we're saying here, and Steven, you help back me up, but when I pay a referral fee, it just depends, right? Sometimes it's a percentage, sometimes it's a flat rate. It just depends. So usually what happens in wholesaling is that you are getting the lead. So not the referral, but the lead. So Foreclosure Daily, what that's all about is that you get leads, like the names of people who own real estate and they need to sell it or they want to sell it, right? So you might be talking to the seller or maybe the probate attorney, but the idea behind wholesaling is that you're getting the property under contract to sell to an end buyer. So you personally aren't buying it, you're getting it. So the way you make money is, let's say, for math's sake, let's say that you get a house under market or under contract for $100,000, right? But the ARV or after repair value, let's say it's $200,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it was all fixed up and everything, it would retail for $200,000, but you got it at a 50% discount. There was minor repairs, whatever. We won't really go into all of that. So, but then you turn around and working with Steven, or if you build your own buyer's list, then you can turn around and sell that contract for like $120,000. So you're making $20,000. You've got the property under contract and you assign the contract. That's what wholesaling is about. You personally aren't buying it, you're assigning it. So when I talk about a referral fee in my webinar, I have two ways I pay referrals. One, if I get a property that say the value is $1 million, I don't invest in $1 million properties, but I have realtors. Even though I'm a realtor, I don't do listings. So I refer out that property to one of my real estate friends, and then I'm paid a referral fee for that. So if they sell the house and their commission is, I don't know, let's just say their commission is $10,000. Usually the referral fee is around 25 to 30%. For math, let's make it 30. So 10,000, then I would get 3,000. So that's one way. Or I have done wholesale deals myself where I've split the fee. So if I sold that same house for 20, but I had a partner that we were helping, we'd split it 50-50. So we each got a flat rate of 10,000. So I think that you would benefit, Nicole, by just booking a call with Steven, and then he can kind of walk through it. So Foreclosures Daily is not the referral, that's the lead list. Steven, what can you add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Foreclosures Daily, so as far as getting these probate records, right, you're able to get them down at the county. I have, full modules how to do that. However, to save on time, getting the leads pre-filtered, sent to you on a weekly basis, or certain niches are sent to you daily, and it has the bed, bath, square footage, everything about the property. So that way, all we need to do is send out a letter, is to send an email, is to call. That is where Foreclosures Daily is coming in and is providing those amazing quality leads. And they are like, in my opinion, they're like the Coca-Cola. They're like the industry standard. Like they've been around since 2004. There's a lot of others popping up, but they are just tried and true and provide the best quality, which matters so much when we're reaching out. Somebody's passed away, there's an inherited property. You want to have good data. You want to make sure there's real estate attached. And so, yeah, that's exactly right, Nancy. It's Foreclosures Daily is providing, and they provide wonderful other resources and marketing things as well. But their leads are really, what they're known for.
Exactly. And then I'm going to come back to the other question. I'm going to go on to, because I think we want to talk about the cost, because somebody said, well, I don't have any money. How do I get started? So I'm going to go right into like the cost of the leads. But do reach out to Steven about just scheduling a call. And the person that was saying that they live in New York, they want to invest, but they don't, I guess I got that they wanted to move out of New York. I don't blame you. I wouldn't be investing in New York City right now either. But let me share my screen and we will go back to, okay.
Do I need to stop share, Nancy?
I think I'm good. Can everybody see it? Can you see my screen? Yes, everybody can?
Okay.
Steven, can you see it? Yeah.
Let's see. I actually cannot see it. So let me.
Oh, you cannot. Okay. So yeah, maybe you should stop share on your end.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, now? Okay. So thank you again. So I'm just going to go through, oops, here we go. So when you become a client of Foreclosure Daily, so they're going to teach you about the 6-step mailing campaign, because like I just showed you, I do, because I'm doing pre-probate. So I just do a quick little letter. If I'm doing probate, like Steven talked about, yes, you do it. So, and then if you have, like, if you're mailing to attorneys, obviously I'm not going to send them a card that looks like a birthday invitation, right? So you'll learn like different marketing techniques and ready to use phone scripts, pre-written email templates, professionally designed letters. My Winning Deals and Heels book, we talk about different marketing, the 9 of us do. Exclusive link for discounted mail rates. So they're going to give you a bunch of resources. And if you're brand new to this and you don't have any money, you need to get on YouTube because I have videos, Steven has videos, and we talk about it. And sometimes it is repetitive, but then at some point, you can't get paralyzed. You got to just start, right? You're not going to get it perfect. That's okay. We've all made mistakes. Steven, you probably made mistakes when you were starting out.
Oh yeah, still do all the time.
Okay. But having a mentor like Steven is going to minimize your risk, right? That's really the if you hire somebody to help you, their primary role should be giving you a process, but helping you minimize your risk, right? So on the cost of the lead. So if you have like limited money, but you really want to do this, then but you can. Steven's got a code that he can give you when you have your call with him about how you can get a discount on some of these properties. But if you look at the cost of marketing for these leads, probate, pre-probate, inheritance, so you can spend $600 for 12 weeks and you can add on another county at 50%. Okay, so you can spend $900, right? But really, if you go all in, that's what I did when I first started, because I just did the numbers. And I saved so much money by having a year's worth of leads. So $1,750 for 52 weeks. Now, like the leads I do, they come every week. Every Wednesday, I get my pre-probate leads. So it's not like I'm like, oh, once a month. So I'm constantly in a motion. And then once you learn the process, then like I used to write these cards. Okay, now I have a mom in my neighborhood that does it for me. And I also use marketing by hand. So, you don't have to do it all yourself. If you have limited money, then do it yourself, right? So, it doesn't take long. You can write about 20 of these cards in an hour once you know the messaging. And then if you're working in Florida, so the price for foreclosures in Florida, it's $479 for 3 months. But then, the more you buy for the time, the more you're going to save. So you can go 6 months for $800, $12.99 for 1 year. And then you can do a la carte. Like if you just like, I'm going to try absentee or free and clear, then you can pay $1,000 for $500. So you'll definitely want to talk to someone at ForeclosuresDaily.com to find out what would be the best. So the person that was talking in New York, if I were you, I would kind of look at, get a realtor friend. So all realtors have access to what's called residential property resource under their MLS. And it's like, it can tell you like some of the median prices of houses for sale. So as an investor, for example, my criteria is I want 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and I don't want to pay more than $250,000, $300,000 for a single family home, right? Whether I'm doing a long-term rental or a short-term rental. That's my criteria, no pool. So if you don't have connections with a realtor, you need to establish a relationship with a realtor. They can set up searches for you. And, if you're thinking about moving to Florida or, Steven, I didn't even ask you, where are you from? Where do you live at? I didn't even say.
Yeah, I'm in the Dayton, Ohio market.
Okay, and that's a great market. Like the Midwest is on fire for investors. So, do yourself a favor, reach out to Steven or myself, but Steven, and he can kind of help you decide what market and if he can help you. So if you're in New York and you want to invest in Ohio, I would call Steven. So you want to add anything to that, Steven?
Yeah, I would just say, so if, a common question, especially as folks are building like an investor style business, or if it's a wholesaling business, is like, can I do this in my own backyard? And it's usually a yes, but in those markets where it's like, I'm in LA or I'm in New York City, doing it virtually. And so when I first started, I was living near Cincinnati, but it's like right on the edge of Kentucky. So I was actually living in northern Kentucky, doing all my deals remotely in Columbus. So my first 50 transactions were 2 hours away, and then just working with clients one-on-one over the last decade, peppered all around the country. So it definitely is something we can chat about, as far as if you're like, hey, I want to kind of build this style of business in a Midwest market. Maybe I want to do this in Memphis, Tennessee. Maybe I want to do it in Indianapolis. There's some very strategic ways that we've found to get tapped into buyers, to good title companies, to do this right and to do this well. And I agree with Nancy. If you are concerned about marketing budget, for sure, that's one of the things I think that is so important, is to keep, this is a business, but keeping costs very lean. And so there's the cost for the leads, but we've even cut corners on, when we're first starting, like, instead of sending direct mail, we might do a little bit more phone calls to the executors, to the attorneys, and send more emails. It's kind of that slide of like, do what you can from where you are with what you've got. And so usually, now there's an investment into the leads, but usually if you have in that ballpark of $200-300 a month for marketing, somewhere in there, it's like with some grit and tenacity, we can still get a deal done. And then from there, once we get the deal done, we reinvest a little bit into marketing, and that's kind of how we get this ball rolling. And so I just want
Yes,
to
and
encourage you.
what I found on like the pre-probate. So I live in Frisco, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas, Fort Worth. So I cannot invest in my own backyard; it's too pricey. So I'm forced to go the same, go out the 2 hours. I mean, you can still find deals in Fort Worth and that kind of thing in pockets of Dallas. But that's the cool thing about Foreclosures Daily, is that they're a nationwide company. Okay, so wherever, like if you're in New York, if you're in Florida, if you're in Ohio, if you're in Texas, they go by zip code, right? So you can say, or county, and you can say, okay, I want this county in this state or whatever. So that's the cool thing about working with Foreclosures Daily and building that team. So, well, Steven, I want to thank you. I'm going to get ready to close it up and let everybody know. Hold on. Where's the last slide, Nancy? Come on. There we go. Is it going to go? Is it going to go? There we go. All right. Okay, everyone. Well, hey, I have an exciting announcement. So, my daughter and I, August 19th is going to be the next Foreclosures Daily webinar. And this is more of like an educational. We're still going to continue with the guest speakers, and I'll still be hosting them. We'll do the next one in September. But August 19th, you're going to meet my fabulous daughter, Kelsey Laka, and her and I are going to be presenting on helping homeowners through divorce, the skills needed to build trust and unlock off-market deals. And we're going to be talking about how we use the Foreclosures Daily divorce list for real estate investing, how to make money. So tune in, go ahead and sign up. It's on their calendar, so you can register for that. I'm excited. And Steven, it was a pleasure having you this evening. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom. And everybody, schedule your call over the next day or two, because you're going to miss out on working with an amazing person.
Awesome. Well, Nancy, it was a pleasure to come out tonight, and everyone, sincerely thank you for your time. And if you would like to book a call, again, it's just StevenHowellMentoring.com, StevenHowellMentoring.com, and there's a big book a call button. But Nancy, it was so good chatting with you, and thanks again for having me out tonight, and look forward to talking with you soon.
Okay, sounds good, Steven. Stay cool, I guess.
Yeah, it's starting to warm up a little bit here in Ohio.
Exactly. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. See you, everyone.